Welcome, I am Rails Eve and your host for Keep Traveling Your African Vacation, the only podcast which brings you insightful information in the African tourism industry by real tourism professionals. Today is our 28th episode and I have the pleasure of introducing Natasha Mostert from Dolce, Vita, Guesthouse and Hartbeespoort Company on the edges of Hartbeespoort Dam in South Africa. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Hi, Raul. Thank you so much. And hi to all the listeners. Thanks for having me.
So, Natasha, for people that are unclear of where Hartbeespoort Dam is in relation to Johannesburg and, of course, where your guest house is, fill us in with the best way to get there.
So we are literally based 30 to 40 minutes drive from Johannesburg or Pretoria. From OR Tambo International Airport, it's about a 45 to 50 minute drive. Our closest airport is Lanseria Airport, and it will take you 30 to 40 minutes drive. We're right next to the Gauteng border. Perfect halfway stop on your way to Sun City or Pilanesberg.
That's what I was going to ask you. You're obviously on the way to Sun City, so you get a lot of traffic coming through on their way.
Yes, absolutely, especially weekdays. So weekends, it's mainly our local market, but during the week, international travelers that pass through on their way to Madikwe Reserve, Pilanesberg or Sun City, most of the flights arrive early at OR Tambo, so it's a fantastic way to just catch your breath halfway through before check-in, which is only at 2 o'clock in the afternoon most of the time, and just enjoy a beautiful, relaxing, scenic cruise with some South African food on board. It's just a wonderful way to get your holiday started.
So that's what I was going to ask you next is what are you actually offering? You're running both of these companies, the Guesthouse, Dolce Vita Guesthouse and Hartbeespoort Company. So you're running them in conjunction with one another. What do you offer people that is going to make them say, geez, I want to go out there and spend some time there?
So my favorite saying is, home is where the heart. So Harties is the abbreviation for Hartbeespoort Dam. So Hartbeespoort Dam is the largest commercial dam in South Africa. We started operating the boat cruises in 2016, but before that we started the Dolce Vita Guesthouse, which is an Italian-themed guest house, beautiful 180-degree views from all the rooms with jacuzzi, spa, baths. We offer accommodation, your dinner as well as your breakfast, and whenever you stay at the lodge, your boat cruise is complimentary or free of charge as part of your accommodation package. So the business, it's a family business. 2016 we started operating the boat cruises. At the moment we have 7 commercial vessels on the beautiful Hartbeespoort Dam. We're surrounded by the Magaliesberg mountain range, which is the second oldest mountain range in the world, and it also forms part of the cradle of humankind. So your scenery is absolutely stunning. You're close to the city, but you feel like you are just far away. So one of our favorite slogans is also close to the city, yet out of this world. So at Hartbeespoort Company in Harties Harbour, we offer 3 daily scheduled boat cruises, a brunch cruise from 10 to 12, a lunchtime cruise from 1 to 3, and then a beautiful sunset cruise from 4 to 6.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I can just come out there at any time, or do I need to book to make sure that there's going to be enough space for me on the cruise, or generally you're going to be able to fit me in?
Generally, we accommodate walk-in, but that's why we committed to having a daily scheduled cruise. So we don't have a minimum requirement of guests to fill up the boat before we cruise. So every single day, 365 days of the year, we have those 3 cruises as well as 1-hour cruises. So if you're strapped for time and you just feel like having a nice, refreshing 1-hour cruise, then there's the 1-hour option for you. And coupled with that is our Zanzibar Beach Cafe, which has lovely beach sand that you can put your toes in, have a beautiful cocktail, and we have a shishinyama, which is a traditional South African braai at the harbour. So if you do the 1-hour cruise, which does not include food on board, you can have something to eat at the beach cafe. However, all other 2-hour cruises include a welcome drink as well as finger food on board the cruise.
Let's just say, as an example, I'm thinking of getting married again for a second time or for the first time.
Don't do it!
I wouldn't do it a second time. But let's just say I'm getting married. Can you accommodate things like bachelor parties, or what do the girls call it? The the hens parties or the actual wedding themselves? Do you cater for that kind of activities as well?
Yes, absolutely. So apart from the daily leisure and scheduled cruises, we offer an array of different private and corporate events, whether it's a corporate event for team building or whether it's a private event. We have 3 luxury pontoon boats that can accommodate 11 guests each with your own captain and crew on board. So if you're a small party and you want to have a bachelor's or a bachelorette's or hens party or a baby shower, whatever the function may be or the occasion, we have those 3 pontoon vessels available. If your group is slightly larger, we have Toriami, which means my dream in Setswana. She can accommodate 35 passengers, and for larger groups, there's Danny Boy that can accommodate 100 passengers, and the Alba, which is our latest vessel to our fleet, can accommodate 80 passengers. So we would basically do your entire setup. Your food is on board, there's a bar on board. You're welcome to do any extra day call for any special occasions and events, but we do assist with birthdays. If it's a proposal, we have a beautiful birthday, will you marry me sign on board. So for any special occasion, we cater for that.
Okay. And if she doesn't say yes, you can just throw her off board, right?
Exactly. Funny that you say that. My husband actually proposed to me on a boat.
Right.
And yeah, he said if I said no, I was going to swim back.
Okay. Well, you did mention that it's a family business. So did you marry into the family that has the business, or did he marry into the family that has the business?
No, he had the business. I married the dreamer, and together we built the business. So it started in 2003 and it's just kept growing. We're the only operator on Hartbeespoort Dam that offers this product.
Okay, that's very interesting. When I go on one of these boats, it's been many years since I drove past Hartbeespoort and I can't really remember the size. So when I go on one of your boats, am I going to feel like I've got the lake to myself? Or am I going to feel like there's lots of boats around and you're just another number type of thing?
Look, on weekends, the dam is very busy. It's a very popular spot due to the proximity to Gauteng as well as Botswana. It's only 2.5 hours drive from the Gaborone border. So weekends it's busy. There's a lot of water sports activities on the dam. Look, our cruises are public, so you will be seated as in a restaurant with other guests. Guests will be dancing. Guests will be celebrating birthdays. If you have a birthday, guests will celebrate with you after the captain announces it's your birthday on board. So there's the public option, but then there's also the private option. We do have clients that would like to have more of a private option. That's why we have the luxury pontoon vessels, where you have your own captain and 1 crew member, can accommodate 11 guests on board, and then you feel more of an exclusive experience on the dam. We do 2-hour cruises around the dam, as it takes you 2 hours to literally cruise all around the 50-kilometer radius dam.
Okay. And are you offering any of these other activities like water skiing or any of these other things that are going on the dam?
So the main activities are the boat cruises, and then we have paddle boat. We don't offer water skiing or jet skis.
So, Natasha, I've heard quite a lot about the boat. I wanted to understand before we leave all the information on the boat. Can I sleep on the boat by any chance?
Well, you might feel like you want to because it's so relaxing, but unfortunately there are no houseboats on Hartbeespoort, also due to the size of the dam. We are looking at a catamaran at the moment that has sleeping facilities because we have had inquiries for guests that would like to sleep over. There's just so many different accommodation options in Harties, with us offering accommodation as well. So no sleeping arrangements on the water at the moment.
Unless, of course, you've drunk too much and you pass out and no one's going to take you off the boat, right?
Exactly, yes. Then you can rock and roll on the boat the whole evening.
Natasha, you obviously have some staff complement helping you run the guest house, helping you with the boats and all the other activities. What are you doing as far as education for the staff and bringing staff through the grassroots level?
So we believe in always employing in our local community and uplifting our local community. We also accommodate quite a lot of interns every year from different hotel schools that have studied travel and tourism to gain their experience within the industry with the potential to then have a permanent position within the company. So we've had many successful positions that we've given to the youth and to interns. In-house with our more senior employees, we're obviously constantly doing in-house training, team buildings. With regards to the boating, we need to be SAMHSA certified annually, and all our skippers and crew are commercially licensed and certified. So on a regular basis do safety, skills training, first aid training, emergency training and so forth. And then obviously your service training. That's the most important. Priority first is safety, but second to that is our clients do come have an experience, and we pride ourselves in the service that we offer. So service training is quite a big portion of our training manual.
Sure. And I'm assuming as well there's quite a lot of sort of sustainability efforts going on, especially on the dam, making sure that you're not chucking plastics and cigarette butts and all that kind of stuff overboard. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing to make sure that you're keeping everything sustainable for the future.
We are part of the Hartbeespoort Dam Rehabilitation Committee. There are 3 rivers from Gauteng that flow into Hartbeespoort Dam. You have the Henops River, the Crocodile River, and the Magalies River that flow into Hartbeespoort Dam. It was built 100 years ago. We just celebrated the dam's 100-year anniversary last year. It was mainly built for farming and irrigation. So a lot of the water flows down to the surrounding farmers, and it's a great source of help for the entire community. We have a lot of educational school trips where we educate children on water preservation, the importance of looking after water, ensuring we keep our waters clean.
You've obviously been in the business now for plus 20 years. Tell me something funny that's happened to you, and I'm sure there must have been a huge amount of examples or episodes where people have acted inappropriately or whatever the case may be, but perhaps you can make the listeners laugh. A particular incident that's either happened to you or your husband or one of the crew that really sticks in the back of your mind and puts a smile on your face.
Look, being in the travel and tourism industry, you don't have one day that is the same. Every guest that arrives is a new guest. It's not an office job, for instance, where it's not repetitive. Well, what we do is repetitive, but every guest that we receive comes for the first time. So we have clients from all over the world. So you do get clients that are really happy that, that take it a little bit overboard when it comes to the refreshments on board. And then you get clients that are not so happy, for instance, missing the boat, because we are strict on our timing and we just need to stick to our schedules. I've been in the industry now 28 years that I've been working in hotels before we started the family business. I have a very bad memory that I can remember of one client that refused to stay at a hotel with us because he came from another province and the weather was terrible. So he refused to stay, and we had to explain, well, unfortunately we cannot control the weather. But a laughing memory that I can remember is we have this, well, he's a man now. We knew this boy who was in school, and he started working with us while he was in high school and training on the boats to become a skipper. We had a wooden boat with a thatched roof, and there was a bit of wind, so we had to do an emergency docking, and he just got so nervous that he jumped out onto the jetty and he tried to pull the boat with his hand. And obviously that didn't work, and guests were trying to help him, and he fell into the water, and then 2 guests fell into the water with him. So that's just a memory that really has stuck with me throughout the years. We always talk about it when we see him, and we just say, yeah, how times have changed, because that is a day we won't forget.
Natasha, I know that you've been generous in providing a prize for a lucky listener of the podcast. Won't you tell us in your own words what you're going to be putting out there for that lucky listener?
Fantastic. Yes, we really would love to offer 2 prizes. So one for the Guesthouse and then one for the boat cruises. So let's start with the boat cruises. We'd like to offer a voucher to 2 guests on the Alba, which is our luxury vessel, which came from the V&A waterfront, by the way, traveled by road for 15 days, satellite roads to get to fresh water for the first time, and she landed in Hartbeespoort Dam in 2022. So the prize I'd like to give away there is valued at 1,590 Rand, and that's for 2 guests. It'll be valid for 12 months, so you can use it for whenever you have time to come through to visit us, and you can book on any one of our cruises for the day, the brunch, lunch or sunset, and that includes your food on board as well as a welcome drink. And we have photographers on board, so you can really capture the memories on the day. Then for the guest house, we are offering a weekend package, which is called the Sweet Life Weekend Package. The Dolce Vita means the sweet life in Italian. So it's a 2-day stay, either Friday to a Sunday or a Saturday to a Monday. And that would include flowers in your room on arrival, a bottle of Italian sparkling wine, rose petals. So it's a very romantic setup. It's perfect for couples. And it includes your 3-course dinner for both evenings, full breakfast in the morning, as well as a boat cruise that's included, so you can choose on which day you'd like to go. And this entire package is valued at 6,260 Rand.
Well, that's very, very generous of you and the family, so thank you very much for that. That's going to go out on the podcast as well as the social media clips that we ourselves put out there. Listen, you've been a fantastic guest. I've really enjoyed learning more about Hartbeespoort and your businesses out there. It's been far too long since I visited myself, but all the very best to you, and thank you again for coming on board. Excuse the pun, but thank you again.
No, thank you. I have to give you thanks for this opportunity, and I hope the listeners enjoyed hearing more about Hartbeespoort Dam. But also, just don't forget, it is the adventure capital of the Northwest Province. So when you come to Harties, there are so many activities that you can do. It's not just cruises and accommodation. There's an array of different activities that you can enjoy for the weekend. So thank you for having me, and we look forward to welcoming the lucky winners.
Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ro.
That was Natasha Mostert from the Dolce Vita Guesthouse and Harties Boat Company on the edges of the Hartbeespoort Dam in South Africa. Do not forget those 2 fantastic prize giveaways. All the entry details can be found in the show notes of this episode, or head over to www.wildsunsets.travel/podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate the show on Apple Podcasts or drop me an email. Tune in again next week when I will be chatting to another great African tourism extraordinaire. My name is Rails Eve, and consider this. A few years from now, you will not remember how much it cost you, but you will still remember the memories you made. Keep traveling.